Months ago, I saw The Monkey with my dad. As it ended, I checked online to see if there was an after credit scene, which I tend to do for most movies nowadays. And as it turned out, there was. But this wasn't like a stinger or a funny extra scene. This was actually a teaser for Perkins' next movie. And I'm not gonna lie, it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm gonna give you my review of the latest horror film from Osgood Perkins, Keeper. But before we get started, please leave a like, and at the end of the video, if you think I've earned it, please subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I post. Now on to the review. Keeper stars Tatiana Maslany as Liz and Rossif Sutherland as Malcolm, a couple celebrating a year together with a weekend away at Malcolm's family cabin. What starts off as a weekend of bliss turns sinister and dreadful when Malcolm, a doctor, has to leave to go see a patient, leaving Liz alone in the cabin, where an ancient, evil presence starts to make itself known. Now that's all I'm going to say about the plot, because the trailers don't really reveal anything, and I think that made the experience much more rewarding for me. Before we get into that though, let's talk about the small cast here and how absolutely fantastic they all are. Rossif Sutherland's Malcolm is the quintessential mysterious boyfriend. He has great chemistry with Tatiana Maslany, and from the very beginning, goes out of his way to show how much he cares for her and loves her. And it's all very convincing, making them a really realistic and sweet couple. And yet, whether he's being squirmy about Liz trying a chocolate cake that was left behind by their caretaker, getting incredibly frustrated when his obnoxious cousin Darren, played by Ket Turton, shows up unannounced, or just having holes poked in his stories, the seeds of doubt with Malcolm are planted fairly early on in the film, giving you this uneasy unpredictability whenever he's around. Is he hiding a secret family? Is he a serial killer? Is he just a weirdo? You'll have to watch and find out. Sutherland plays this all very naturally too, and with Liz being our protagonist, it's really hard to shake that uneasy feeling that the character of Malcolm just relishes in. Now, as for Liz, Tatiana Maslany is, once again, just phenomenal here. Crazy how when she's cast in a great project with a good script, how I actually like her. She's our lead here, and we spend basically every scene with her, which is a very effective way to put you in a ready headspace to experience the dark, eerie, and dreadful atmosphere on display here. She's sympathetic as hell, an artist and a normal, unsuspecting woman from the city that's just trying her best to enjoy her weekend with her boyfriend. And that goes a long way to making you comfortable with her, seeing her as a real person, and of course, rooting for her. There's also a scene involving her eating chocolate cake that, between her more pleasured noises that she makes and the sound design on that f***ing cake, I will not be eating any for a long time. And once Malcolm actually leaves the cabin and the eerie shit starts happening, Maslany just carries this movie on her back with a performance that runs the gamut of confused, uncomfortable, angry, and downright terrified. There is one scene in particular with some news that she gets, and the sheer level of panic and terror in her voice just gave me goosebumps.
Let's go back. I want to go back to before.
Now, for the first half or so of this relatively short movie, it's only an hour and a half, I was pretty locked in to the mystery, the performances, the eerie atmosphere. And I can't go through this review without mentioning the cinematography and production design here, because wow, is this a beautiful movie to watch. The design of the cabin that Malcolm brings Liz to is hauntingly beautiful, while also really giving a sense of vulnerability with its dark corners, sounds coming from the attic and basement, and the floor-to-ceiling windows that just make Liz feel like she's open to the world around her. The cinematography also tends to invite that feeling of vulnerability, with shots that go against typical conventions by placing Liz, for example, in like the bottom left of the frame, leaving so much empty space on the rest of the screen that it just dares you to look for something that might be watching her. And sometimes you'll see it. Just a glimpse though, enough to make you think, did I just see that? And those scenes work incredibly well, both to make you feel discomfort and unease, but also to put you right in Liz's shoes and understand just how freaked out she is. But at a certain point, I started to wonder, is this it? Is anything actually going to happen in this film, or is this movie just content to live in a creepy atmosphere until the credits roll? And though I was never really bored or thought the movie sucked or anything, I definitely started to feel a sense of longing and like I was just waiting for something to happen. This isn't helped by the fact that I kind of figured out the twist early on, but I digress. Thankfully, once all the cards are on the table with the mystery and we head into the third act, the movie shows a tan with some of the most creepy and clever creature design that I've seen in a long time. And though I was never really scared, like I said, this movie is really all atmosphere, not really violence or jump scares. That growing unease from the first half comes to a head in these moments. And I was straight up squirming in my seat, as was my dad. We were also the only ones in the theater when we saw this at like 8:30 on a Monday night. But then the movie just kind of ends. You get to the point where everything is revealed. We come face to face with these spirit creature things. The creepy visuals are bumped up to 11. The dreadful score by Ido van Bremen is going off, and you expect something legitimately crazy to happen. And it just doesn't. Instead, right as things are getting super intense, we get a fade to black, a main conflict resolution occurs off screen, and then we get an ending that, even if it is pretty satisfying narratively wise, along with the creep factor of it, just felt kind of rushed, and I think that might be my biggest problem with the movie. I haven't seen Gretel and Hansel or I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, but between the Blackcoat's daughter, Longlegs, and the monkey, I've become a pretty big Osgood Perkins fan at this point, so I really wanted to love this one. But as it stands, this is kind of just a collection of moments of dreary atmosphere and uniquely creepy visuals that attempts to narratively tie it together with a third act twist without really sticking the landing. However, I wouldn't say I was completely underwhelmed thanks to Tatiana Maslany's amazing performance, the effectiveness of the dreadful atmosphere, the gorgeous cinematography, production design, and sound design. That cake scene alone. Ido Van Bremen's score, and a solid enough third act and ending, even if the climax does feel pretty rushed. And that's my review of Keeper. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it at the beginning. Please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I post. While you're at it, scroll down to the comments, let me know if you saw this movie. And if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. They'll take you to my review of The Running Man, or just over to my channel where we can check out the rest of my reviews. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week for my review of Wicked for Good.